Hey all, Rob here, hope you're well. This is the 2021 Focus Jam Squared. The Focus Jam Squared is a 150mm travel, full suspension trail bike. It was originally launched in summer last year. And this new 2021 model has quite a few very welcome features and component changes. It's designed to be an agile, playful and nimble handling trail bike. It's got decent modern geometry with a nice short 447mm chainstay and 29er wheels front and rear. Head angle is 65.3 degrees, which is nice and slack for a trail bike, and a reach of 487mm in XL. It's based around the latest Bosch Generation 4 motor, which is a decent punchy drive unit with 85 Nm of torque, powered by a decent 625 Wh battery. The frame is aluminium with a removable battery slotting into the down tube, which can be charged both on and off the bike. The bike weighs in at 24.7 kilos in XL and is priced at £4,999. For 2021, they've made it even better. It comes with a better fork, it comes with a better set of tyres, a brilliant group set in the Shimano XT. These Magic Mary tyres look perfectly suited to aggressive trail riding, and this Fox 36 Rhythm looks like it's a beefy, burly and stiff fork that's going to take some pretty big hits. This new stem integration is the best example of cable management that I've seen on an e-bike so far. So what we'll do, we'll go for a ride around the Surrey Hills and I'll tell you everything I like about it, if there's anything that I find that I don't like about it. So let's go hit the trails. I immediately felt comfortable on the bike. Its trail-based geometry is nice and slack, and that big 29er wheel on the front with 150mm travel gave me a lot of confidence on the trails on the Surrey Hills. The reach felt perfectly matched to the terrain for my height at 6'3", keeping the bike agile enough at the front. And I felt quite centred in the frame, and it felt like my weight was well balanced on the bike. The 150mm travel front and rear is a good match for trail riding and is a capable chassis. More on the suspension performance a bit later in the video. The bike feels nice and agile, much more so than I was expecting due to the weight of almost 25 kilos. The 29er wheels help it roll quickly, and it's pretty easy to pop over jumps and drops. And the Bosch Generation 4 motor with its recent 85 Nm update offers plenty of punch to get you back up to speed. It's a new Bosch Generation 4 motor. I've done quite a lot of videos on this motor already, so go and watch those after this video to give you all of the info, but to put it short, it is a super punchy motor. With the 85 Nm update that Bosch recently released, it's one of the most powerful motors on the market. The new EMTB software mode means it is instantly engaging. So if you're on steep inclines, as soon as you put a little bit of pressure through the pedals, it just takes off. And it's easy to start on super steep hills. The battery is 625 Wh battery, so you've got decent range. You can have all day rides on this. Purely on display. It's a bit old school looking, but it's ergonomic and it's easy to change the modes and things. So I do like the Bosch system. There is one caveat to it though. It's quite noisy. On all of the Bosch Generation 4 bikes I've ridden, there is rattling noise when you're on bumpy, rocky, rooty terrain and you're just going at some kind of pace. It does annoy me, to be totally honest with you. It's a little bit frustrating, and some people don't notice it at all, but I do notice it. It is the downside of the Bosch Gen 4 motor. But overall, it is a fantastic system and I really like it. It's on my own personal bike, and yeah, I'd really recommend a bike with a Bosch Gen 4 system because it's really new, software's been updated, and it's a super strong e-bike system. So let's talk a little bit more about the suspension. The Fox 36 on the front is sublime. It's a fantastic match for this. I'm glad more and more e-bikes are moving up to stiffer forks, because I can notice the difference between a 34 and these 36s. It makes a massive difference. Now, the rear linkage is very, very active. There is a huge amount of travel through the mid-stroke, so I've kind of overinflated it. I am on open, and I found on open it is a little bit wallowy, and on the middle kind of trail setting it's a little bit too firm. So I am kind of finding that the middle part, the mid-stroke, is a little bit more wallowy than I would perhaps like. So it's kind of stiff on the initial stroke, and then to me it feels like the mid part blows through fairly easily, and then I think it's quite progressive towards the end because I've not felt any super harsh like bottoms out. So we'll do some more testing. I'll let you know how the chassis feels. Oh man, whew. I gotta say, this front fork is fantastic, and paired with these soft Magic Marys on the front and the rear, it gives you so much confidence. The front is super stiff, so you can get your weight over the front, get the tyre to really dig in, and it is super sticky. The only downside to the tyres is they're quite heavy, but I'm not feeling that too much of a problem right now. The bike feels quite nippy and it wants to move around quite a bit, but this front feels really solid. It's got the 35mm bar and stem combo. Maybe that adds a little bit of stiffness to the feeling at the front, but there is a lot of confidence that I've got in the front end for these sharp shoots and getting your weight over, and you can feel that tyre bite in. Really like the integration of all the cables, super neat at the front into the stem and the headset. The way that they just go neatly, they tuck in there. And when you're behind the bike riding along, you can barely see any wires at all because it's narrow and low profile. And you've got 4 cables going straight in there, down the back of the headset and through the aluminium frame. And it's just a really well thought out design. These small kind of little details that I really appreciate when designers think about the look and the organisation of all the cables, rather than there just being like a massive bird's nest of cables right in your face when you're riding. So that looks really cool. So I'm pretty sure this is unique to Focus. I've not seen this from any other brands before, but it is super cool, really neat. And quite a few people asked in the first look video about the integration of the magnet. And again, it's a well thought out design on the back. So there's no magnet stuck on one of the spokes that a lot of Bosch bikes have. And the benefit to not having a magnet is they can easily get knocked. And if they get knocked, the speed sensor gets a bit funky and the bike thinks it's doing a wrong speed, or it doesn't know it's doing any speed at all, so it just turns the bike off. Focus have neatly integrated the speed sensor into the chainstay, so you can't see any magnet on the spokes. There's nothing that can get knocked, and it is just a well thought out design, having that integrated directly into the chainstay. Drivetrain on this bike is fantastic. I personally on my bike use SRAM wireless kit, but this XT shifter is my favourite already. The ergonomics on it are brilliant. I love the fact that you can upshift and downshift more than one gear at a time, and you can use your index finger or your thumb to change to a harder gear. And the shift in performance with this 12 speed is outstanding. Like, it is, I think, my new favourite drivetrain setup. And paired with the XT derailleur and the SLX cassette, it just works wonderfully. It's equipped with Shimano XT brakes, which are brilliant performers. Nice stubby little levers. They just feel really, really premium. We've got reach adjuster on here and the XT discs. So overall kit level on the bike is really, really good. In fact, not just the drivetrain, but the tyre choice, the wheel choice with the DT Swiss rims, everything about it is a very good spec. And it's not like you get the bike and you need to change bits out. You shouldn't have to on a bike that's £5 but a lot of bikes come with tyres that don't necessarily work for the terrain that they're designed for. But this is just out the box, ready to rip on trails. But yeah, the drivetrain is outstanding and the kit level is brilliant. And the bike's got perfect trail geometry. 29er wheels, so it rips, it's super quick on the trails and nice and playful. The geometry is like perfectly set up for a trail bike. What I have also noticed is it has a flip chip just on the rear. And you could pop a 27-inch wheel in the rear and you can actually move the rear wheel forward slightly so you can effectively reduce the chainstay length. And I reckon that this bike set up with a mullet setup with a like a super short back end, it's going to feel even more playful and nimble than it does already. So just an interesting thing here that I think is a really cool feature for you to be able to change the bike's geometry and reduce the chainstay length with the flip chip. So after 4 days riding in the Surrey Hills, is this the perfect electric mountain bike trail weapon? It is an outstanding trail bike. It's burly at the front, decent fork, good set of tyres, decent frame. As an entire package is outstanding. I think the value at $4,999, yes, it's a lot of money, but you're getting a top level of kit on the bike. So Fox 36 rhythm, decent DT Swiss wheels, excellent Shimano XT drivetrain. The Bosch motor is punchy, it's powerful. That 85 Newton meters is good enough to start on really steep hills and just get you going immediately. And the 625 watt hour battery, well, it's good for all day riding. So the negatives, there are a couple. The Bosch motor does rattle around over chunky, loose, rocky terrain, jumps. You can hear it clattering around in the frame. Happens on all Bosch bikes that I've ridden, and it just, you kind of get tuned into it. You do get used to it, but it is annoying. The Purion display ruins the front look, the beautiful look, the clean integration, and you just got this chunk of a screen on the front. So suspension kinematics, I would like to be a bit more progressive. I would like firmed up a little bit. Not a deal breaker, but just something to be aware of. And the tyre spec out of the box, I mentioned it's brilliant, but you are going to shred through this rear tyre quite quickly. Already, after a few days riding, it's looking quite worn out. The only other negative I'd say is the weight. It's quite lardy for a trail bike of this kind of category. It weighs in at around 24.5, just a little bit over on my XL, which is on the heavier side for a trail bike. I think some of that's down to the heavier 625 battery, the aluminium frame, and the tyres, they're probably quite heavy. So it isn't the lightest trail bike, but it makes up in that for the way it handles and the way it feels. It's kind of playful, nimble. But this bike comes with my recommendation for a decent trail bike, and in fact an outstanding trail performer. Decent value, $4,999 is a lot of money, but when you look at what else is on the market for this kind of price point, you're getting a lot of bike for your money. Hope you like the video. Let me know with a thumbs up. It really helps me understand what you guys like. Any comments, pop down below. I'll try and answer as many as I can. And if you like this, subscribe, so I bring out weekly electric mountain bike content. And until next time, I'll catch you soon.